The text message glowed on my phone at 3:17 a.m. I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. After 4 years together, that's how Ellie ended things. No explanation. No goodbye. Just 12 cold words that shattered the life we'd built. If you've ever had your heart ripped out without warning, you know that hollow feeling that follows, like you're drowning on dry land. But what happened next? That's the story that changed everything. If this resonates with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to follow more real-life stories that remind us we're never alone in our struggles. I stared at my ceiling fan for hours that night, watching it spin in endless circles like my thoughts. 4 years of memories played on repeat, our first date at that Italian restaurant where I spilled red wine on my white shirt, the road trip to the coast where we got lost and found that hidden beach, the Christmas she gave me a watch engraved with, "For all our time." All of it suddenly felt like a beautiful lie. My name is Daniel. I was 27 when my world collapsed, working as an architectural designer at a firm downtown. Ellie and I had met in college. She was studying psychology, always the empathetic one who could read people like books. Except, apparently, I had become unreadable to her. Or maybe I was an open book she no longer wanted to read. I didn't call her that morning. Pride, maybe. Or shock. I went to work like a ghost, moving through the motions. My coworkers noticed but kept their distance. Grief has a way of creating invisible barriers. I designed buildings for a living but couldn't rebuild what had just crumbled beneath me. That evening, my phone buzzed again. I almost didn't look, afraid it was Ellie with more final words. Instead, it was Maya. Maya had been Ellie's best friend since high school. They were inseparable, the kind of friendship that sometimes made me feel like an outsider. Maya was everything Ellie wasn't, loud where Ellie was quiet, spontaneous where Ellie was planned, artistic where Ellie was analytical. They balanced each other perfectly. And now she was texting me. "Can we meet for coffee tomorrow? There's something I need to talk to you about." I agreed, assuming she wanted to explain Ellie's sudden departure. Maybe Ellie had sent her as an ambassador of heartbreak, to deliver the explanation she couldn't give herself. The coffee shop was our usual spot, mine and Ellie's. I wondered if Maya had chosen it deliberately or if it was just habit. She was already there when I arrived, fidgeting with a napkin, her dark curly hair pulled back in a messy bun. She looked up when I approached, and I saw something in her eyes I couldn't place. "Thanks for coming," she said, pushing a coffee toward me. "I already ordered your usual." The gesture felt strangely intimate. Maya and I had always been friendly, but we weren't the type to remember each other's coffee orders. "So," I said, cutting to the chase, "did Ellie send you to explain why she ended things with a text message after 4 years?" Maya flinched. "No. She doesn't know I'm here." I waited, watching as she struggled to find words, unusual for Maya, who typically spoke with the confidence of someone who never second-guessed herself. "I've wanted to tell you something for a long time," she finally said, her voice barely audible above the coffee shop chatter. "But I couldn't because of Ellie. Because you were hers." My stomach dropped. I knew what was coming before she said it. "I have feelings for you, Daniel. I have for years." The words hung between us like smoke. I felt anger rise in my chest, hot and sudden. "Is that why she left? Did you tell her?" Maya shook her head vigorously. "No. God, no. I would never. I don't know why she ended things. She won't talk to me either." I didn't believe her. It was too convenient, too perfectly timed. "So the day after she dumps me, you decide to confess your feelings? That's quite a coincidence." "It's not like that," Maya insisted, her eyes pleading. "When I heard you two broke up, I thought maybe, finally, I could be honest. I've kept this inside for so long it was making me sick." I stood up, coffee untouched. "I need to go. Daniel, please." I can't do this right now. I walked out, feeling her eyes on my back. Outside, the spring air felt too warm, too alive for the coldness I felt inside. My phone buzzed with a text from Maya, "I'm sorry. That was selfish of me. Take all the time you need." That night, I finally called Ellie. It went straight to voicemail. I texted, "We need to talk. In person. You owe me that much." No response. 3 days passed. I moved through life mechanically, work, home, sleepless nights. Then Ellie texted back, "Meet me at the park. 5 p.m. Our park. Where we'd had picnics and watched stars and once built a snowman during the first snowfall of winter. I arrived early and sat on our bench, watching children play on the swings while parents chatted nearby. Normal life continuing while mine had stopped. She appeared like an apparition, walking slowly toward me. She looked different somehow, thinner, paler, her blonde hair limp around her shoulders. Not the vibrant woman who had shared my bed less than a week ago. "Hi," she said, sitting beside me but leaving space between us. "Hi. That's all you have to say after ending our relationship with a text message?" She winced. "I'm sorry about that. I couldn't face you." "Why not? What changed so suddenly that you couldn't even talk to me?" Ellie looked down at her hands. "It wasn't sudden for me. I've been feeling disconnected for months. And you never thought to mention that? We were talking about moving in together 2 weeks ago." "I know. I was trying to convince myself it would fix things. I felt like I was talking to a stranger." "Fix what? What was broken that I didn't know about?" She finally looked at me, her blue eyes swimming with tears. "Me, Daniel. I'm broken." The anger that had been fueling me suddenly evaporated, replaced by concern. "What do you mean?" "I've been diagnosed with depression. Severe depression. I've been hiding it, trying to handle it myself, but I can't anymore. I can't be in a relationship right now. I can't be anything to anyone until I figure out how to be something to myself again." The revelation hit me like a physical blow. All those mornings she couldn't get out of bed that I'd attributed to tiredness. The social events she'd started canceling. The way she'd stopped playing piano, her lifelong passion. The signs had been there, but I'd missed them all. "Why didn't you tell me? I could have helped you." She shook her head. "That's exactly why I didn't tell you. You would have tried to fix it, to fix me. And you can't. No one can but me. So instead of letting me support you, you just cut me out of your life?" "I'm not thinking clearly, Daniel. The depression, it convinces me that everyone would be better off without me. Including you." I moved closer to her on the bench. "That's not true." "It feels true," she whispered. "And I need to focus on getting better without worrying about how my darkness is affecting you." We sat in silence for a while, watching the park life around us. Finally, I asked the question that had been burning inside me. "Does this have anything to do with Maya?" Ellie looked confused. "Maya? What about her?" "She asked me out. The day after you broke up with me." Ellie's face registered shock, then something else, a flash of understanding followed by sadness. "She finally told you." Now it was my turn to be confused. "You knew?" "Of course I knew. She's my best friend. I've known how she felt about you for years." The revelation made me dizzy. "And that didn't bother you?" "It did at first. But she never acted on it. She respected our relationship. She respected me." Ellie sighed. "Is that why you wanted to meet? Because of Maya?" "No. I wanted answers about us. There is no us anymore, Daniel. There can't be, not right now. The finality in her voice cut through any remaining hope I'd been harboring. So that's it? For years just, over? I'm sorry. I truly am. But I need to do this for myself. As we said goodbye, she hugged me briefly, a ghost of the embraces we used to share. I watched her walk away, taking a piece of my heart with her. The next few weeks passed in a blur. I threw myself into work, stayed late at the office, and avoided places that reminded me of Ellie. Maya texted occasionally, checking in, never pushing, but always present on the periphery of my shattered life. One night, after a particularly grueling day at work, I found myself responding to one of her messages. Want to grab a drink? As friends. Just talking. We met at a bar we'd never been to before, neutral territory. The conversation was awkward at first, both of us dancing around the elephant in the room. But after a drink, words began to flow more easily. How is she? I finally asked. Maya looked relieved that I'd brought up Ellie first. She's getting help. Therapy twice a week. Medication. She moved back in with her parents temporarily. That's good. I'm glad. She asks about you. I raised an eyebrow. What do you tell her? The truth. That you're hurting but surviving. We talked for hours that night, about Ellie, about the past, about everything except Maya's feelings for me. As we were leaving, she touched my arm lightly. I'm sorry for how I approached things. It was bad timing and selfish. It was, I agreed. But I understand loneliness makes us do desperate things sometimes. She nodded, grateful for the understanding if not forgiveness. Over the next month, Maya and I developed a strange friendship born from shared loss. We never spoke of her confession again, but it hung between us like an unfinished sentence. We'd meet for coffee or drinks, always in new places, creating memories untainted by the past. Then came the night that changed everything again. I was at home, attempting to assemble a bookshelf I'd bought to fill the emptiness of my apartment, when my phone rang. It was Maya, her voice frantic. It's Ellie. She's in the hospital. My heart stopped. What happened? She tried to hurt herself. Her mom found her. They pumped her stomach. She's stable now, but... I was already grabbing my keys. Which hospital? 20 minutes later, I was running through hospital corridors, Maya meeting me at the elevator. Her eyes were red-rimmed, her face pale with shock. They're only letting family in right now, she explained as we sat in the waiting room. Her parents are with her. We sat in silence, the fluorescent lights humming above us, time stretching like taffy. Finally, Ellie's mother emerged, looking exhausted but relieved. She's asking for both of you, she said. Ellie lay in the hospital bed, looking small and fragile against the white sheets. And 4 dripped steadily beside her. When she saw us, she attempted a smile that didn't reach her eyes. My 2 favorite people, she whispered. Coming together in crisis. How appropriate. Maya rushed to her side, taking her hand. I hung back, uncertain of my place in this tableau. Don't do that again, Maya said fiercely. Don't you dare. I'm sorry, Ellie replied. The darkness got too loud. She looked past Maya to me. Daniel. You came. I moved closer. Of course I came. Even after everything? Even after everything. The 3 of us talked quietly for a while, about nothing important, about everything important. The nurse eventually came to tell us visiting hours were ending. As we prepared to leave, Ellie grabbed both our hands. I need to say something, she said. I've been watching you 2 from a distance. I know you've been spending time together. Maya and I exchanged uncomfortable glances. It's not like that, Maya started. Ellie shook her head. Let me finish. I want you both to know that it's okay. Whatever happens between you, it's okay. I ended things with Daniel because I needed to focus on myself, not because I stopped loving him. And Maya, you've loved him silently for years. You both deserve happiness, even if it's with each other." The words hung in the air, heavy with implication and permission we hadn't sought. "Ellie," I said gently, "Maya and I are just friends." "For now," Ellie replied. "But life is long, and feelings change. I just don't want my illness to keep three people from finding whatever peace they can." After leaving the hospital, Maya and I walked silently to the parking lot. The night air was cool, stars visible despite the city lights. "That was unexpected," Maya finally said. "Yeah. For the record, I haven't been hanging out with you two, you know." I nodded. "I know." We stood awkwardly by my car, the hospital looming behind us like a monument to how quickly life can change. "What happens now?" Maya asked. "I don't know," I answered honestly. "But I think we all need time to heal separately before we can figure out how to be in each other's lives again." The next 6 months were a slow journey toward something resembling normalcy. Ellie was released from the hospital and committed fully to her recovery, therapy, medication, support groups. She started a blog about her experience with depression that gained a following of others struggling with similar demons. Maya threw herself into her art, finally quitting the corporate job she'd always hated to pursue painting full-time. She had her first gallery showing that fall, a series of abstract pieces that somehow captured the essence of grief and healing simultaneously. I focused on rebuilding my life piece by piece. I joined a recreational soccer league, reconnected with friends I'd neglected during my relationship with Ellie, and even started dating casually, nothing serious, just learning how to be with someone again without expectations. The three of us kept in touch, first through group texts that were painfully polite, then gradually evolving into something more genuine. We celebrated Ellie's 6 months of recovery with dinner at a new restaurant, neutral territory for our new dynamic. It was awkward at first, all of us hyper-aware of the complicated history between us. But somewhere between appetizers and dessert, something shifted. We found ourselves laughing at an inside joke, the kind only people with shared history can appreciate. In that moment, I realized we were creating something new from the ashes of what had burned down. As we were leaving, Ellie pulled me aside. "Are you happy?" she asked directly. "I'm getting there," I answered truthfully. "You?" "Some days are still hard. But yes, I'm finding my way back to myself." She hesitated. "And Maya?" I glanced over at Maya, who was paying the bill. "We're friends. Good friends. That's all." Ellie studied my face. "But you've thought about more." It wasn't a question, and I didn't treat it as one. "It would be complicated." "Life is complicated," she said simply. "Happiness shouldn't be." 2 weeks later, Maya invited me to her studio to see her newest work before it went to the gallery. The space was flooded with natural light, canvases in various stages of completion leaning against the walls. In the center stood a covered piece on an easel. "This one's special," she said nervously. "I've been working on it for months." She pulled the cloth away to reveal a triptych, 3 connected canvases telling a single story. The first showed 2 figures intertwined, the second showed them separated with a third figure between them, and the third showed all 3 figures standing apart but connected by threads of light. "It's us," I said, understanding immediately. Maya nodded. "I called it reconfiguration. It's about how relationships change but don't necessarily end." I studied the painting, moved by the raw emotion captured in each brushstroke. "It's beautiful. I've been afraid to show it to you," she admitted. "Afraid you'd think I was still." "Still what?" "Waiting. Hoping." I turned to face her. "Are you?" The question hung between us, honest in a way we hadn't been with each other before. "I don't know anymore," she answered. "When I first told you how I felt, it was this thing I'd carried for so long. But now, after everything, I just want us all to be okay, whatever that looks like. I nodded, understanding completely. I think that's where I am too. We stood looking at the painting, shoulders almost touching but not quite. The space between us felt important somehow, not a barrier but a respect for the journey. I'll finish the story for you. We stood looking at the painting, shoulders almost touching but not quite. The space between us felt important somehow, not a barrier but a respect for the journey we'd all been on. I think we're all going to be okay, I said finally, believing it for the first time. 6 months later, the three of us sat together at Ellie's one-year sobriety celebration. Her parents had organized a small gathering, and the room was filled with people who had supported her recovery. When Ellie stood to speak, her voice was strong and clear. "A year ago, I thought my story was ending," she said, looking around the room. "I was convinced that the darkness was all there was. But I was wrong. What I've learned is that sometimes things have to break completely before they can be rebuilt into something stronger." Her eyes found mine and Maya's in the crowd. Sometimes the people we love most have to reconfigure their places in our lives. And that's not a failure, it's growth. After the celebration, the three of us walked together in the park where Ellie and I had said goodbye a year earlier. The seasons had changed, trees now heavy with summer leaves where once they had been bare. "I have news," Ellie announced, stopping by a fountain. "I've been accepted to graduate school. For counseling psychology." "Ellie, that's amazing!" Maya exclaimed, hugging her. "I want to help people who are where I was," she explained. "Turn my experience into something useful." I felt a surge of pride for her. "You're going to change lives." "I already have, haven't I?" she said softly, looking between us. "Both of yours." "Mine too." We sat on a bench, the same one where Ellie had told me she needed to leave, and talked about the future. Maya's art career was taking off, with a commission for a public installation. I had been promoted at work and was designing my first solo project. We had all found our paths forward, separately but somehow still connected. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the grass, Ellie took both our hands in hers. "I want you both to know something," she said. "What happened between us, all of us, it broke us. But look at what we've built from those pieces." Maya nodded, tears in her eyes. "Something stronger. Something true," I added. We walked out of the park together as the streetlights came on, three people forever changed by love, loss, and the courage to begin again. Not a conventional happy ending, perhaps, but a real one, messy and complicated and beautiful in its truth. Life rarely gives us the endings we expect. Sometimes it gives us something better, the chance to write new beginnings, again and again, with the people who matter most, even when the ways they matter change. If this story touched you, please like and subscribe to follow more real stories about the complicated, beautiful ways we find to heal and grow together. Remember that your own story isn't over yet, sometimes the breaking is just the beginning of something stronger.